The unexamined life is not worth living. That is a quote attributed to the ancient Greek philosopher Socrates, and it signifies that a life devoid of self-reflection and critical thinking lacks true meaning and purpose. Cue the Jehovah's Witnesses knocking at my door. Hello everyone and welcome to Noah's Snark. I'm Atheist Joseph Vina, and today I want to take a look at the psychological underpinnings of religious people as it relates to characterizing Jesus or God as a king. Full disclosure, I am not a psychologist and I don't pretend to be one, but I do find it a fascinating subject along with sociology, even if they are soft sciences. On to the topic at hand. Do Christians have a deep-rooted psychological reason for not only being religious, but capitulating to Jesus or God as a king? The psychological reasons for why believers embrace and use this title are largely embedded in emotional needs, and I would hazard a guess that the people who do this kind of thing do it for reasons that are more complex than simply being indoctrinated into the religion. A guess it seems many psychologists would agree with. Here are some key psychological dimensions involved in submitting oneself to authority, divine or otherwise. Number one is a need for structure and order. Humans generally seek structure and hierarchy to make sense of the world. Kingship evokes a sense of order and authority. Referring to Jesus or God as a king satisfies a deep psychological need for a stable, all-encompassing authority figure who governs the universe and gives meaning to life, presumably because one is not able to do this on their own. Number two is a desire for protection and security. A king is traditionally seen as a protector of his people. In a world full of suffering and uncertainty, believers may find emotional comfort in the idea of a divine ruler who watches over them, even while said ruler refuses to help them while mighty demonic forces assert themselves. Nonetheless, calling Jesus king reassures believers that someone powerful and just is ultimately in control. Number three, it's the projection of an ideal leader. People often project their ideals onto authority figures. A divine king represents the perfect ruler. Wise, benevolent, just, and omnipotent, qualities that are often absent in human leaders. Thus, Jesus or God as a king becomes a symbol of moral perfection, fulfilling the yearning for a leader who is genuinely good. Number four, it solidifies identity and belonging. Social identity theory suggests that people derive self-worth from the groups they belong to, and this doesn't apply to just Christians. Nonetheless, Christians identifying Jesus or God as their king helps solidify a group identity. For example, citizens of the kingdom of God. This creates a strong sense of belonging, as they are part of a divine realm with a clear leader. Being a part of such a group typically confers special benefits or knowledge that outsiders cannot enjoy or obtain, which ultimately fosters a fear of outsiders as a threat to their community, in turn providing one with a greater motivation to remain safe within their established group. It really is a vicious cycle. Number five, the narrative and symbolic power of kings. Human beings are meaning-making creatures and often think in stories and symbols. Kingship carries with it powerful symbolism of victory, sovereignty, and eternal rule, which are compelling and memorable. Number six, transference and the parental archetype. From a psychodynamic perspective, Jesus or God as a king overlaps with the parental archetype. A king is a father-like figure, distant yet caring, powerful yet personal. People may also unconsciously transfer parental expectations onto God, seeking discipline, approval, guidance, and unconditional love. Calling Jesus or God a king goes beyond a religious habit. It deeply reflects a psychological need for security, structure, meaning, and identity. It's a way for people to connect emotionally and cognitively with the divine, using a familiar and potent human symbol, the sovereign ruler. And there you have it, 6 psychological underpinnings for why people submit to Jesus or God as a king, reasons for which are simply human nature. It's how the human mind works. And by the way, this list is not meant to be exhaustive. I'm just giving you the basics here. As someone who is not a big believer in free will, or that we have much less free will than people typically suspect, I don't want to characterize people who do this capitulating to Jesus or God as a king, as merely being stupid or intellectual lazy. Yet, I do, because one has to commit to not reflecting upon their own psychology, to intentionally ignore their psychological motivations and come up with other reasons for why they do this thing. Which, by the way, I think is very weird, though maybe I should examine my own psychology for why I think it's weird. Ooh, Joseph, is this the part where you tell us you've examined the psychology behind why you're an atheist? It's simple, really. I like to ask questions in my pursuit of understanding the world, all of which is fascinating to me. And because I like to ask questions, I have a great disdain for thought-terminating rhetorical maneuvers, such as when I'm told, you just have to have faith, which places beliefs over reasons. I also don't like being told what to do most of the time, which aligns with the deep-rooted desires some people have for freedom. No one is the boss of me. Well, except maybe the cat. If people don't want freedom and want to be subject to a king, fine, that's their business. Be a follower. I don't care. But don't demand I follow too. I march to the satanic drums of a very heavy metal drummer. Hail Satan. Thanks for listening. If you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing. I'm Atheist Joseph Vina for Noah's Snark. Until next time, revel in reason and love the logical.